I'm visiting you, I guess, essentially. I know I've been to Aragon High quite a few times, so it's exciting to make these videos for you. You probably know me if you're a sophomore or later from coming into your classroom and giving some workshopping to your singers and doing some demonstrations of singing. Over the summer, when things were shut down and crazy, to keep myself busy, I actually also became a certified yoga instructor. I've practiced for a long time, and I've probably talked about how important it is to engage your whole body when you're singing. So I'm going to take you through some physical warm-ups you can do to prepare your body for its best singing. So a lot of times we start thinking of singing as a neck up activity, but in fact we actually really engage our whole body. Our muscles all around our diaphragm, which is located right here, they're engaged in the breathing process, of course. Our neck and shoulders can affect the way we sing, right? When we bring tension into the neck, it's hard for our larynx to move up and down as it needs to do for our singing. So we're just going to start with some basic movements, and these might be great after you've been in Zoom classes all day and need to release a little bit. So we're just going to roll the shoulders. Simple, right? We've probably done this in your choir classes. Rolling forward, head side to side, and then we're just going to reach way up in the sky and swan dive forward. You can keep your knees straight or slightly bent here. Just release down. Let the muscles of your lower back release. Drop your head. Come up with a flat back, keeping your quadriceps, your thigh muscles engaged, so you stand up nice and tall and get really anchored into your feet. Imagine your feet are like an electric plug, right? You have the 2 points in the front, so those are your toes, and your heel to plug you into the floor. That heel is going to keep you grounded. So you're going to want to stay rooted in the floor. Bend your knees a little bit. You might want to do a little side to side. It's always nice to kind of feel that flexibility. And depending on your anatomy, you want to try to get about 2 fist widths distance between your feet. So I stepped a little bit wide. That's good. Sometimes I prefer slightly wider or a slightly 1 foot forward stance, but either way, it's as long as your feet can really ground into the floor. So find Peter Pan arms, and you're going to find the top of your hip crest, right? The top of your pelvic bone. And when you breathe, see if you can fill up your hands and feel them expand to the sides. And we're going to shush out. Shh. And through that, you can feel your belly pull in. When you inhale, feel the belly relax and move outward. And shh. One more. Inhaling. And shh. So as I sing, I actually feel engagement from the lower belly muscles. So when you have to support through a really long phrase, you're going to want to imagine pulling your belly button towards your spine. So we'll just do a little singing with this. We're going to do and even as we're singing down the scale, as it gets easier, we're making sure that we're still pulling the belly in and up rather than collapsing down. So one of the big tendencies from singers I see is to collapse the ribs in and to kind of squish the air out of your lungs. So let's try that. I'm going to go a little bit higher. So you're going to and I'm still pulling up and in. I'll show you the difference when we don't do that. It loses its brilliance and the airflow becomes more difficult to maintain. So as we're moving into lower notes, we want to always make sure we're not squishing the notes, but really just letting the air flow to them. So let's do one more exercise. So we're gonna like do a little hula hoop while we sing. And we're gonna sing, sing ye, sing ye, sing oh. And what are you noticing happen? We're gonna do that one more time. What do you notice happen in your jaw and neck muscles as you do that? One more time. Sing ye, sing ye, sing oh. If you're focusing on wiggling your hips, your head shouldn't move too much. If you're noticing that your head and neck muscles are pulling upward to reach that high note, we're going to try one different exercise. We're going to kind of come into a half squat. You're just going to place your hands on your arms and you're going to let your head fold and let your neck be nice and long. So we're going to do that. I'm going to go up a step. Sing ye, sing ye, sing oh. That's going to encourage the belly to flop down for our inhale. And when we're already folded over and hinging kind of at our hips, there's not really anywhere else for the air to compress, right? We can't squish down or slouch over. So, and one more thing you can do, if you're noticing you are squishing down a lot, we're going to go up one more step. We're going to hold our hands behind our back and just think of a wide open heart. Sing ye, sing ye, sing oh. And you should be able to really get in touch with your front body that way. And it could be, like every body is different, everybody is different. So what you might also explore, if you have a background in dance or gymnastics, you've had to do a lot of pirouettes and things like that, you might find that you actually are having a lot more trouble letting this front body relax. And you might want to think more of using the back body. So when I work with dancers, one of the things that I know they have trouble with is letting these muscles go. Because when you are in a pirouette, right, you have to engage those muscles. So I've had a conversation recently with a friend about singing in tree pose. It's a tactic he uses with his male students who feel a higher center of gravity than female students, than biologically female students. But when they do tree pose, our biologically female students, we tend to have a lower center of gravity and engage these muscles in a different way. When we're singing, we want to feel these relax just a bit more. So, and you know, it's not exclusive to male or female. It can just depend on your anatomy and how long your legs are, I think. Female bodies tend to have a wider pelvis, so we have a lower center of gravity to support that. So for females, you can do a goddess pose. Well, it's called actually challenging angle pose. So like this, where you come into a squat. I'll step back a little bit, you can see. A squat with your feet grounded on the floor again, and your arms out in cactus, so your heart is nice and open. And you can sing again. Sing ye, sing ye, sing oh. And because your quads are engaged, you're probably not pulling any energy anywhere from outside of this region that's trying to keep you balanced. So you can try singing in tree. Sing ye, sing ye, sing oh. It's a little harder for me, and I was a modified tree because, I don't know, I can't really think about singing too much when I'm like this, but it feels good. So those are my yoga-inspired postures and yoga-informed vocal stretches. If you want to incorporate some movement and some stretching into your vocal practice, it can really help loosen things up. I encourage you to try it and let me know how it goes.